the more effort that I put in my life, whether it's exercise or particularly like running and yoga and martial arts and doing stand up and doing podcast, the more I do those things, the more because I'm creating my own struggle. And I feel like there's a lot of benefit in creating your own struggle rather than like if you see a lot of people that run into like a lot of struggle with life, just life in general, in terms of like relationships and friendships and fallings out. A lot of that seems to me that people need a certain amount of conflict and a certain amount of struggle. And they create that struggle if they don't get it in some sort of a organic form. You know, if you're not at war with a neighboring tribe or you're not worried about predators, you create this struggle with your girlfriend or with your buddies or, you know, with the people at work, your coworkers. The more I create my own struggle, the more I orchestrate it through training, through exercise and just rigorous physical struggle where you're knocking on the door of whether or not your body is going to make it through this. The more you do that, the more I feel like it minimizes those other struggles in life. I like it that way better. I don't need any real horse shit in my life. Yeah. I like to make my own horse shit. Like if you're running hills, right? If I'm running hills and doing these sprints 400 or 500 yards up this hill, it's so fucking hard to do that's all I can think of. And my body's heaving, my heart's pounding, and I'm just push. And all I'm thinking about is my breath. Things get minimized. Everything else is sort of like that's a real struggle. Like that's almost death. Like your heart is going 180 beats a minute, you're pouring sweat. That's like a design. I'm doing it on purpose. And I'm doing it to squeeze out all the excess energy and angst that my body might be putting on that sort of confuses you about the real significance of interpersonal conflict and relationship conflict and work conflict. So much of it is like exaggerated by your own body's desire for some sort of action, something going on. So I've found that the more I do that myself, the less I have that in my everyday life. There's a lot of people that are scared of their ability to do something that's difficult. They're scared of whether or not you see someone who's doing something that's really tough to do and you go, man, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could force myself to be disciplined. I don't know if I could force myself to take that kind of action. Well, if you do force yourself to take that kind of action, you don't have that question anymore. That question, I don't know if I can do it. Well, you're doing it. So you obviously can do it. Can you do it tomorrow? Well, you did it today. Why can't you do it tomorrow? Just do it. I mean, that Nike slogan, just do it, it's one of the greatest slogans of all time. It's so true. It's so good. It's so much better than live your truth or any of these fucking stupid ones that you hear today that people keep spouting out left and right. Get out there and go fucking do something. Just go. And then in the middle of doing it, it'll become easy. Even if it's not easy, even if it's hard, it's easier than not doing it and wishing that you had done it. You are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You can learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving. Keep moving. You know, use it as fuel. Say never again. You know, I get what I did wrong, but don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learned. You know, and to have that attitude is a really important thing. And to not say, why am I doing this now? I could have been doing this my whole life. Well, you weren't, so the fuck is that gonna help? Yeah. You know, you gotta not think like that. You just gotta be happy you're doing it now. Knowing that you can achieve a certain level of excellence, whether it's at martial arts or anything you're doing, If you do know what that feeling is like when you've worked for years and years and years and you've achieved this certain level of excellence, it's very unusual. You realize like, oh, that could be achieved in other venues. You just have to find the venue, apply the discipline, and that's where you get so much more benefit out of a struggle that you choose to embark in versus a struggle that life throws upon you. And I think the more you choose to embark in these struggles, these especially physical and mental struggles, because I consider both martial arts, yoga, and actually even trail running, I consider the mental struggles as much as physical struggles. Like, because I could stop anytime I want. I'm halfway up the hill, I can go, fuck this.
Yep.
Fuck this, I'm walking the rest of the way.
Yep.
Call my dog over, put him on the leash. I'm like, we're walking, buddy.
Yeah.
But, or you could say, no, this is what I'm doing today. I have a very clear plan in front of me. My plan is we're doing 4 miles today. This is where we start. This is where we end. This is what we're doing. That's also why choosing to engage in your own struggles is so critical. Because the more you do that, the more those things have less pull. That you can minimize the amount of attractiveness that those things have. When you're faced with the cold, hard reality of physical struggle on a daily basis, those other things, they're whatever their dance is, whatever their siren song, it doesn't sound as good.